Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone's doing good. Thanks, everyone, for joining today. In this live, I'm going to be talking about fasting and nutrition, and I'm going to explain a few things that you guys can do to get yourselves on track, healthy, wealthy, and wise. For everyone that's joining, my name is Paul. I'm going to be talking about weight loss today and explain a few things that you guys can do, whether you want to get your health back on track or you just want to lose a few pounds. This live's definitely just made for people that want to intermittent fast, that have a problem intermittent fasting, and that need help. Quite frankly, they need help to start intermittent fasting and getting their health back on track. Now, for me personally, in my journey, I've done intermittent fasting for a very long time. And while it does work, a lot of people fail at it. And the reason people fail at intermittent fasting, one of the number one reasons, is because of the cravings. When people have these cravings, when people have these ravenous cravings and they break their fast, or they maybe start snacking and they think they're in a caloric deficit, yes, that is part of the equation, and it does help at certain times if you're using keto style snacks. But it's not always the case, because with people, what happens is that they end up eating, spiking their insulin, ending up storing more fat. They might be in a caloric deficit, but it's not necessarily healthy for themselves. So for those of you that are out there that are fasting on a regular basis already and able to actually continue and maintain a fast, then you're going to know that basically you have, the willpower to do these things. Is it just willpower though? It's not just willpower, guys. It's the consistency. The consistency is what's going to keep you fasted longer. It's going to keep you healthier. It's going to keep you in a state of fullness, of happiness, so that you can keep choosing the right foods on a regular basis and understanding what is really good for your health and what's not good for your health. Okay? And having that knowledge on what to eat, when to eat, these are the two things that you need to know, right? And for when it comes to weight loss, guys, you got to understand, for losing weight, you want to understand that when it comes to weight, there's going to be problems with energy. There's going to be problems with brain fog, right? Elias, the topic is weight loss Q&A. That's the topic today. I'm just going to share this live with our group. And there's a lot of people in our group that look to get healthier, and maybe it's that last 10 pounds. Maybe it's, who knows? It could be the last 10 pounds. It could be 20 pounds, 30 pounds, sugar cravings, low energy, maybe controlling blood sugar, right? Hi, Mini Comp, how are you? Yeah, and when you think of insulin resistance, you think, okay, well, am I insulin resistant or not, right? This is something everyone talks about. Forget about that, guys. Let's understand that calories matter, right? The amount of calories that you put into your system are going to matter, right? It's gonna matter no matter what. Is that amount of your eating, the number, and not all calories are the same, guys. You could have calories that is 1,000 calories of really bad food that has no nutrition value, and it's just going to throw you off the edge, right? You're just not going to be able to handle your cravings. You're not going to be able to feed your muscles the right amino acids, right? You want foods that have more amino acids in it, which is good for your body, right? You want to make sure that you have your cells are fed the right foods, right? Essentially, high density foods are going to give you more health, and it's going to keep you full longer, right? Mini Comp, I'm good. How are you doing today? And when we think of insulin, we think, okay, well, sugar is going to come up, and then insulin is going to come up, and then now I become insulin resistant, and this is causing all my problems. Yeah, a lot of people out there will tell you that. A lot of people out there will tell you, hey, you know what? You just have to watch your insulin. You got to watch your blood sugar. That's part of it. But for weight loss, you have to focus on the calories. The calories do matter. Now, do we count calories? Maybe not. But you have a general idea of how many calories you're taking in, right? And when you sip on Unimate, when we sip on Unimate and we fast longer, we're going to ramp up fat burning. When you ramp up fat burning, guys, you feel good. Because when you ramp up fat burning, your fasting window can become longer, you get more energy, more ketone production, you generally just feel good and feel great in a lot of cases. And that's all because you literally focus on reducing inflammation, reducing your hunger, and if we say, oh, well, my hormones are off, Paul, my hormones are giving me problems. I literally have high cortisol. Yeah, you can say all those things. You can make that your whole story. Or if you want to lose weight, you can focus on cutting those calories down, but making sure that you have high fibrous foods, right? When you have the high fibrous foods in your diet, you're going to feel a lot better. Thank you guys for the likes, appreciate it. Thank you, Sumer. Dr. C, thank you. Thank you, Fasting Guy. Thank you, Crafty, appreciate it. Now, when you have the right foods in your system, you won't feel as sluggish either because you've got the right foods. And if you're gravitating towards high sugary foods all the time, high carbs, that's a sign that your gut health may not be balanced, right? You may have too much candida, you may have an imbalance, but overall, let's just talk about in layman's terms, you literally don't have good microbiome balance. Like your microbes are not functioning in balance, right? And that's why to balance them, you want to add fiber, right? If you add fiber to your meals, you're going to be able to stay fasted a lot longer when you do fast. Because you're eating well, you're having fibrous foods, it has more substance to it, right? It's not going to just fly right through your system. It's going to slow down the absorption, gently clean, feed your gut microbiome, and that's going to help you fast a lot longer, guys. When you do it this way, guys, right? Thank you, Minicomp, for the subscription. Really appreciate it. And when you fast longer, for a longer period of time, okay? And when you fast longer for a longer period of time, you're going to reach phases where you have lower blood sugar, lower insulin. You're also going to start tapping into ketones. Not right away. That happens 14 hours in. That doesn't happen right away. You're going to first start feeding off of the sugar that you ate from your last meal. Then you're going to start to tap into the glycogen in your muscles, right? Don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean that you're feeding off your muscles. What that simply means, guys, is that there's sugar that's stored in your muscles and in your liver, and your body's going to feed off of that next, okay? During that period, you're still not burning fat. Then you start going into fat burning, guys. This is the time period where you start fat burning. And then now all of a sudden, you start tapping into fat. And your body prefers fat. So that's why when you eat, you want to make sure that you're not competing between carbs and fats. I always tell my athletes, and when I train my athletes for years, I tell them, guys, listen, you do not want to go heavy, high fat. You don't want to high carbs. You want to bring the fat lower and maybe the carbs up. Oh, Raptors, yeah, thank you, Aaron, awesome. Or you want to have it the other way around. You might want to have higher fat and lower carbs, because when you get that competition between the two, your body will just hold on to the fat. And we see that all the time. We see fighters, a lot of the Russian fighters are like this. A lot of the Russian fighters, you'll see when they compete in Japan, they'll have a little bit of fat around them, like Fedor Emelianenko, his brother. There's a lot of Russians that are like that, okay? Now there's Russians like Khabib and all them that eat high protein, a little bit different, and high fat, but because they're in the mountains, right? But there's a lot of other athletes that they have that extra fat on them, and it's actually a good thing for them because they're in the cold weather. But you got to understand that us living everyday lives, we don't want to have high fat and high carbohydrates, because they're just competing with each other, right? So we got to understand too, like when you understand your mitochondria, right? Oh, good day to you too, CM. Thanks for joining. When you have poor fat utilization, guys, you got to understand that fat reserves aren't officially converted to energy. And that's what I'm talking about when I say choosing the right foods. It's super important to choose the right foods, nutrient dense. That is paramount. If you can start switching to higher protein, make sure you have your fibers in there, right? Diverse fibers. You want to have soluble and insoluble, right? And you want to make sure you have something that you're drinking and sipping during the period that you're fasting. Okay? Now, for me personally, I use Yerba Mate. Okay? Yerba Mate helps me fast a lot longer right here. Okay? This here, Yerba Mate. This is a Yerba Mate extract. It contains all the vitamins, the minerals that your body needs to actually survive, believe it or not. But on top of it, what it has in it, it's got high levels of chlorogenic acid. Chlorogenic acid is what helps you to stay fasted longer and is very, very good for your health. It actually will help you to help you provide energy as well and increase what's called GLP-1 that's produced in your gut. Also, leptin will come up, another hormone that shuts off your cravings. So now your cravings come down, ghrelin comes down, and your hormones start to balance. Now we can say, hey, Paul, well, I'm in menopause, my cortisol's high. Your cortisol will come down too, yes, but let's just put that aside. For those of you here, anybody that wants to lose weight, just put a W in the comments and let me know how much weight you want to lose. The brand name is Unicity, and if you want information on it, you can either text me, message me, or go up to my profile and you can find information on this. Okay? Rubus, I'm not a medical professional. No, I'm not. No. I'm a coach of over 30 years training health, fitness, and nutrition and sports, right? Not a medical professional. Doctors of medicine, what they do is they prescribe medications. I do not condone. If you want to use medications, totally fine. You can use them. But I'm more on a natural path, if that makes sense, right? All of our athletes, we never had injections. We never had any of that. It's always whole foods, everything, and we use extracts, plant extracts. Yeah. So guys, basically, when it comes to the medical industry, you're going to get injections. You're going to get a lot of chemical type of, CM is saying, do I believe? I do CM. Yes, I do believe in calorie counting as well, CM. You can also calorie count. Because guys, you can reduce calories, and people say, oh well, if you don't reduce calories, oh, you're insulin resistant. It's not true, guys. I've seen people on a caloric deficit make it work. The problem is it may not be consistent. It may not be sustainable, and that's why you want to make it sustainable. And to make it sustainable, that's how you if you get into a 16/8 fasting window, you're going to be able to have the right balance of nutrition and fasting. Because this is the key, right? When you're eating, you're actually nourishing yourself. And you got to think of it that way. Is that, are you eating nourishing meals? That's the key, right? That's the key component when it comes to this, right? So most people aren't, okay? I know that for me, when I was fasting I've been fasting for almost 16, 17 years now. And until I added the nutrition, I didn't get the results that I used to. My body would hold on to the fat. It's because my nutrition was poor, okay? Now, when I started to improve my nutrition, I'd have to shop at different places other than the grocery store. I'd have to find other food sources. Then, yes, my health was much better, of course. But when I did calorie counting, whether it was even the poor food, was it good nutrition or bad nutrition? With bad nutrition, it didn't make a difference. Calorie counting with the right nutrition is the key, guys. That's the key, okay? Now, another thing I want to mention is that if you have belly fat, if you're struggling to lose belly fat, no matter how much you work out, guys, this is not always your fault, guys. You got to understand how your body survives, how your body thrives, how it works, right? Now, the body fat's a common issue. We know that. We know body fat's a common issue. A lot of people have excess body fat, right? Excess sugar storage. Insulin resistance causes the sugar that you don't use to be stored as fat. We know that, right? And we end up with visceral fat accumulation. But really, it's the constant snacking, it's all the other things that we do throughout the day is what's causing these issues. And once we start to tap into our fat stores, and that's the only way to do that is by fasting. You have to fast. There's no other way around it, okay? Some say, oh, well, you can have small meals throughout the day. You can do that. You can do caloric restriction. You can do that. And that's like, kind of suppressing your appetite. Yes, you can do that. But the other way to do this is to fast longer and to go back to being a hunter-gatherer, which means that you will eat at certain time periods, time-based eating, and certain time periods you will not eat. Very simple. One is your fasting window, and one is your feasting window. Okay? Your feasting window should always be a lot smaller than your fasting window. Ricardo Garcia, how are you, buddy? How's it going today? And guys, anyone here does fasting? OMAD is the best way to lose weight. It really is. OMAD is one of the best ways. But the way I'm proposing, guys, is to do 2 meals a day. Okay? 2 meals a day. And what I say is do those 2 meals, have the right nutrition, go into that. You will naturally go into a caloric deficit by having the 2 meals. Because when you add the fiber, when you add this to your meal, this slows down the digestion of your food and cuts down the caloric intake. So now you're eating less food, you're staying full longer, number one. Number two, when you're fasting, we're using the yerba mate extract. The yerba mate extract actually helps you to burn more fat for fuel. So now it helps you to tap into your fat, it ramps up your fat burning, kills your cravings. Your cravings just go boom, down, and you get more energy and move more. Ed, yes, it does work. I do keto along with intermittent fasting, lost about 90 pounds. See what I mean? It works. You can listen to see Ed right here. All you got to do is nutrition. He's having the right nutrition. Anytime you go keto, that tells me if someone does keto, they're actually focusing on the right nutrition. That's the key. Okay. And on top of it, with intermittent fasting and keto, so like I said, fasting and nutrition, that's the way. Problem is, and congratulations, Ed, 90 pounds. 90 pounds in 8 months. That is wonderful. And you know what? It's consistency. What our system does is it helps you to stay consistent. As you sip on this and you add the fiber, vitamins, and minerals, or you can do what Ed did. I don't believe Ed even used this, right? Ed, if I'm not mistaken, you did without it. And that's wonderful. No exercise or anything. Now I'm going to do it exactly and see what Ed's doing. It's perfect. He's going to the weights. That's the key. When you go into the weight training, that's going to make the hugest difference because that's going to stimulate muscle growth. Now you don't have to do weights. You can do resistance. You can do push-ups. Call them girl push-ups. Call them what are modified push-ups. Push-ups, squats, exercise band. Just stimulate your muscles to move a little bit, right? Fiber is exactly. Once you add the fiber, that also is going to help with your gut health as well. Now, Ed, you're probably good, but you can always have a look at my profile and have a look at what we're doing here if you want to ramp up your results even more, or if you just want to be healthier. The balance here was created back in 1988. 1988, 7 different types of soluble and insoluble fiber. Fasting guy, yeah. Calisthenics and martial arts are my go-to. Absolutely. Same with me. Myself and Leroy both love this. Yeah, definitely. And Ed, you don't need to do this, but it could enhance what you're doing. Yes, definitely have a look at it. And yeah, great advice. I mean, you can see, Ed, you took the advice yourself, and kudos to you. You actually did the work. Now, what is the work? What did Ed do? Ed stayed consistent. 8 months. Okay? Didn't expect it in 1 month. Didn't expect it in 2. Probably might have. I don't know you, Ed. I'm not sure. I just met you. But he might have, but I'm not sure. But the point is, and even Ricardo here, Ricardo does 1 meal a day, right? What about a water fast only for 3 days? Yes, Ricardo, that's wonderful. And Leroy is right here, the fasting guy. He can comment on those longer fasts. I stick to the 16/8 personally, and sometimes I'll go 18/6, sometimes I'll go 20/4, right? But Leroy's right here. Leroy, can you chime in on this question here? For advice for the 3-day fast, if you haven't done it, go for a 2-day first, or just be prepared, but just really understand, and Ricardo, I think you probably already know this, understand how to break your fast after those 3 days. Super important. Knowing how to break that fast after those 3 days. Solraki, wow, 36 hours. There you go. This is a good start. When you go 36 hours, it's perfect. Beautiful fast. Okay? It's a day and a half. It gets you into autophagy, and you start to actually feel great, right? Hey, Andrew, how are you? Andrew, have you come to give me a hard time? Just kidding. Now, guys, for those of you that are diabetics out there as well, and you say that and you say that you can't, you can't fast. You can. You just have to work your way into it. Type 2 diabetics we see all the time, they just work their way slowly into it, right? Improve yourself. And let's talk about chlorogenic acid. Chlorogenic acid, I do remember you, Andrew. Yeah, I remember actually the picture. I'm more of like a visual person than Andrew in the picture. So it just clicked right away. Yeah, and plus the laughter. The laughter reminds me. Anyways, getting back to this. This has guys, okay? This is like having 300 cups of classic yerba mate. The classic yerba mate that we have, that they drink in Argentina, it's the national drink of Argentina. Their C rates, C rates, what I'm talking about, and obesity rates are low, are very low, guys. Their rates are like, I would tell you, they are less than 15%. Less than 15%, right? Obesity rates and cancer rates. I'm sorry, I didn't answer your question about the longer fast, did I? Oh my goodness. The longer fast, you're going to get great benefits. I would just recommend to do two days before you do 3, unless you've already done. So I always add a day one at a time. I just wanted to mention that. But getting back to Argentina, they have this plant called the yerba mate plant. This plant contains all the phytonutrients, phytosterols that you need to survive. It's grown in the mountains of Argentina in the shade. And Unicity has the farmers there that they go and they get the actual products from them and have a 5-step process of fire roasting it, purifying it, amplifying the effects of it. So you don't have to drink just a cup of it, right? The Argentinians, they drink it. Brazilians, like Cristiano Ronaldo, he drinks yerba mate. Lionel Messi, the Argentinian soccer team, carried around over 1,000 pounds of it during the last World Cup, guys. That's got to tell you a lot. We've got, like, a lot of our athletes are drinking it as well, okay? These athletes that I'm talking about are actually, they're fighters. They compete in the ring. They're combative athletes, right? Combat sports. And they drink this, and you have an increase in cardio, you have an increase in strength. A couple of them are fighting at lower weight classes because of the balance. Because what we're doing is we're getting right here the vitamins, minerals, but especially the soluble and insoluble fibers, soluble and insoluble. Okay, and that's mixing in with your food, cleansing your gut microbiome as it goes through. But before you eat, we drink this, and when you drink this before you eat, what happens is that it feeds your good bacteria in your gut. Good morning, Linda. How are you? Good morning. And it feeds your good bacteria in your gut. When your good bacteria in your gut gets fed, then you get microbiome balance. So your good bacteria comes up, your bad bacteria, which is up here, starts to balance, right? It also helps to negate the excess candida in our guts, right? That's important. That's why I say fasting and nutrition. Okay, guys? And if anybody wants information on this at any point, just put an N in the comments and I will share my number above, okay? Super simple. Now, is anyone struggling with belly fat? Let me know, guys. Anybody struggling with belly fat? Because I'll tell you, Unimate will help you to target that belly fat. Anybody struggling with, let's say, fatty liver, non-alcoholic fatty liver is another one that people struggle with, right? Right? Sharing belly fat, or are we talking non-alcoholic fatty liver? Guys, let me know. You can put in the comments BF for belly fat, non-alcoholic fatty liver. You can put FL for fatty liver, because I had both of those issues, guys, and I was able to reverse it. Belly fat. Okay, got it. So for belly fat, guys, you got to understand that when our livers, when our body does not tap into the glycogen in our liver, here's what happens. That liver that fat, that excess sugar on your liver spills over and becomes fat around the midsection, particularly in the midsection, okay? And that belly fat is called subcutaneous fat. The fat inside your body is called visceral fat, and it's kind of like a rusty engine. Your organs are like the engine, and you've got this rust on it that's called visceral fat. What Unimate does is it targets that visceral fat, which is actually causing more problems and making you have more subcutaneous fat. You're welcome, Ricardo. Really appreciate you here as well. Now, think of it this way. Thanks for the follow, Ricardo. Now, that visceral fat, why Unimate targets that is because that's the root, right? When you start to fast and you enhance your fasting and increase ketone production, your body's going to start looking around the body, looking all around for dead skin cells, even if you have skin, like, like issues with your skin. You have acne, you might have blemishes. Your skin's an organ. So your body will start to feed off of the fat on the organs and any scar tissue, even your heart will start to repair itself, believe it or not. Now, it's not the Unimate that directly does that, it's the fasting that does that. But this enhances your fasting. Okay, I hope that makes sense, guys. So when your body's searching around for fuel, your body knows how to recycle dead skin cells. Undigested proteins as well. Yes, we have undigested protein as well. That's why there are people in their colons, they have all this undigested protein, undigested protein, and they end up with polyps and all these other things inside because we don't have anything to brush our colon. We brush our teeth every day, but we don't brush our insides. So think of fiber as the internal brush that's going to help to brush your intestines, brush your gut, and to also feed your gut microbiome. I hope that makes sense, guys. Champ, is it okay to drink coffee in a fast? You're 12 hours in. Wonderful. So you're 12 hours in. Yes, absolutely, coffee. But I ask you a question, Champ. Is there milk and sugar in that coffee? Is there milk and sugar? Demitcha, yes, talk that talk. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, my friend. Double. So, Champ, here's the thing. Hydrocolonics, yes, I'm going to get into that. That's a very good topic you brought up, Sharon. Champ, when you do double, right? Anything that you have is more than 15 calories, that literally will break your fast. So just think of it that when you have that double, what you're doing, you have stopped your fast. Anything over 15 calories. That's why purposely we have this Unimate, which is less than 5 calories. So Champ, definitely have a look at our system of the fiber and have this. Yeah, black coffee. Go with black coffee for sure, Champ. Absolutely. Yeah, good question. I'm glad we caught that. Go with the black coffee, but make your double. Have that after your meal. So after you have lunch or dinner, have it right after. Okay? Hydrocolonics. Yes, I have a friend that has those clinics, and hydrocolonics is a way to actually clean out. Yes, for sure. And people have done it. It's wonderful. But remember, we're mechanically going in to clean up the colon, right? As opposed to our body gently cleansing it on a daily basis, right? Gently cleansing it on a daily basis. Demitch, the topic is weight loss, fasting, and nutrition. How you can use fasting and nutrition it's a weight loss Q&A, open forum. That's the question. That's the answer to that question. Fasting guy says double the trouble. Yeah, absolutely. Manyazel Solomon, how are you? Beetroot juice is wonderful. Really good stuff. 310, good morning. Good to see you here. Wonderful to see you here. Yeah, beetroot. Yes, beetroot is really good. I used to drink beetroot a lot. It's very good for people that have high blood pressure. Really good choice, for sure. Absolutely. Now remember, you might see that when you go toilet after eating beetroot juice, you might see that the stool looks bloody. Okay? Don't worry, it's the beets. I hear people say that to me all the time. They say, Paul, I don't know why. I say, listen, I think I have blood in my stool. I say, well, you got to get checked from the doctor, number one, because I'm not a doctor. You got to go check from the doctor. But then I find out, hey, do you eat beets? Do you eat, these, and they're like, yeah, I eat that. Yes, exactly, Linda. That's the thing. Beetroot is good for you, though. It's very good. That's the thing, again, right? God's plants. God puts all these plants. Now, guys, should you do OMAD, or should you do 1 meal a day OMAD, or should you do 2 meals a day? That's the magic question, right? Now, tell me, guys, how many meals a day, and I'm talking including snacks, how many meals a day do you have? How many meals a day do you have? Right. I'm going to try it. Yes, Dimitri, definitely try it. You will be blown away. It's so good. I mean, it's amazing. Linda's saying too. Vernice, hey Vernice, how are you? Too. Foz is saying I struggle with sugar cravings. Yep. Fasting guy is on OMAD. Okay, wonderful. That's wonderful. Okay. So sugar cravings. Yes. So basically, sugar cravings. Unimate will literally suppress your sugar cravings. Okay? How it does that is helps your body to start to focus on the fat that we have. So it helps your body to ramp up fat burning. When your body chooses fat as fuel, it's the preferred source, believe it or not. It really is. Fat is what your body wants to feed off of, but we keep giving it sugar. Okay? So you've got to go through that time period, and that's why we have this, because this kills your cravings. Sugar cravings go right down with the yerba mate extract. Okay, so look at this. And also when you eat, if you want the caloric restriction and you want to make sure you have the healthy stuff, add the fiber, vitamins, and minerals. This is going to make a world of difference, improving your gut health. There's so many published studies done on this, okay? And you're going to have that more energy to move more. So imagine these three things happening. You ramp up fat burning, your cravings come down, right? You get more energy to move more. Now you're moving more, your energy, like you just got more energy, you're like moving more because you have more energy because your body's feeding off of the fat you have on you. Thank you for the follow there, Carnivore King. Appreciate that. And even there, like you can see the name there, Carnivore King right there, right? Like focusing on carnivore diets are really good as well. But I would just recommend for the carnivores to do some cleansing with some fibers. Super important, because the fiber is a very low fiber on people that do carnivore on its own. While it's really good, I recommend carnivore for sure for a certain time period, maybe not for everyone all the time. But what you can do is also add in the fiber. Once you add the fiber in, most of the carnivores that we have, we make sure we have the plant fibers. Super important. But everyone has their own way, and if it works, just do it. That's the key. Okay, if it works, do it. Double down, triple down. But just know that you don't want excess undigested proteins inside your system, because that can cause issues. There's certain people that if they don't have the evacuation of those proteins, then they end up with a lot of issues inside their gut, right? Inside their intestines. And this is what we're trying to avoid, right? We're trying to avoid this excess grime inside of our system, right? If that makes sense. Bossman, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. And another thing that we focus on for our athletes when they're coming down in weight, we focus on the fact that they need to have enough protein, but they want to have protein. Dimitri, the products that we have is Unimate and Balance, these two, and these are the ones that help us to fast longer. You can see them in my profile if you go and have a look as well. Yeah, so getting back to this, right? Amino acids are fundamental to your biology and life. Yes, amino acids are paramount for your health. Thank you, Boxster, for sharing the live. Really appreciate that. And vitamins like vitamin A, B1, B2, B3, vitamin B7, B5, there's no B7, B5, I just kept counting numbers, B5, selenium, sodium, sulfur, zinc, potassium, manganese, all of that, iron, calcium, vitamin E, vitamin C, it's all in this. You can live off of yerba mate. You definitely can. You can. You can live off of that plant alone. In fact, during the civil wars there, the locals in Argentina in South America, lived off of yerba mate. They actually just lived off of it. Isn't that crazy? They lived off of a plant. A plant helped them sustain their lives. And the Argentinian soccer team carried 1,000 pounds of yerba mate during the World Cup. So to fast and have the right nutrition, you need to have a base. And then now what you eat is equally important, but you've reduced the cravings, you've ramped up fat burning, your body is tapped into its energy and wants to move more. You literally unlocked great health. But now comes the consistency. Now your body, now your mind, everything, you just want to, your mindset changes. Your body craves good foods now. Now your body wants to eat good foods, right? So you start to look for, you start to crave actually good foods, believe it or not, because your cravings have come down, your sugar cravings. So if your sugar cravings come down, that means you're not craving carbs like you used to. You're actually craving the other foods, which could be meats, vegetables, could be fruits. It's going to be more wholesome foods. Maybe even you might crave rice, which people say, oh, rice is just sugar. Yes, I agree with that. It is sugar as well. Still better. I still rather eat some rice, which is gluten-free, than have a whole bag of bread or a whole loaf of bread, right? You know what I mean? And that's what bread does. As soon as you eat bread, you want to eat more and more and more of it, right? So that's the difference, right? And this Wonder Tea, I'm telling you, it's made from a plant that's power packed. Okay? And another thing I want you to understand is that Balance was created by Rexall back in the 1980s. So it's been around for a very long time. And the sugar cravings, people say, oh, well, sugar cravings because of insulin resistance. Well, sugar cravings is because you have fed yourself so much sugar, so much carbs, that your body just craves it. It's that simple, right? You can say it's insulin resistance, you can say it's this, you can say it's that. But at the end of the day, guys, you got to understand that insulin resistance is a condition that affects a lot of people, yes, but you can still lose weight and be insulin resistant. There are people that are insulin resistant that still actually are thin. That's right. So if you want to do weight loss, guys, if you want weight loss, you want to lose weight, you got to understand there has to be some sort of restriction of the certain foods that got you fat in the first place, right? If you got belly fat, it's there for a reason. Hey, crazy man, how's it going? Good to see you. It's been a long time. And low energy, guys, when you have that fatigue, that low energy, then you just look for more cravings. You just look for more food. You want to see quick sugar. And that's why when you see a loaf of bread, you're like, that looks good, because that turns to sugar, right? That's literally what happens. That literally turns to sugar. And what happens is guys, when you understand, you have low GLP-1 combined with these problems, right? Hormones are all over the place. It becomes difficult to manage sugar and fat now, right? And that leads to uncontrollable cravings, okay? And that's why what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're not leading to these cravings, but we're rather ramping up fat burning, okay? Because fat burning is the key. You want your body to switch right into fat burning mode during the morning, like morning hours, and then start to get healthier and healthier as the day goes by. It's very simple, right? Easy to say, easy to say, hard to do, many would say, right? But it's not that hard to do. It really isn't. Once you start to do this and your body starts to get healthier, you will notice big things happen. Huge things will happen. Your health starts to come back on track. You start to feel way better. Your energy levels come up, right? And you just feel great. Like you just feel awesome, right? And it's because you started the day with fasting, right? Fasting, in every religion, in every culture, they have fasting, right? Because fasting can help you to be more calm, right? And also balance your hormones, like your hormones that are all over the place because of the food. They're stimulated, overstimulation. Fasting brings you right down, calms you right down, right? So guys, let me know, what are your goals? What are your health goals? You want to be healthy, obviously, everyone wants to be healthy. Is there a certain weight goal that you have? If you don't have these weight goals, guys, it can be very challenging, because if you don't have a goal, what are you going towards? Did you want to increase your muscle mass? Did you want to increase maybe your shoulder size, your arms, your legs? These are all goals, and people can have them, right? But you got to understand that there's going to be the 4 pillars, right? You got to make sure you have the fasting as part of the day. You want to have the nutrition, right? You want to also get the steps in, and you want to have the resistance training. Those 4 pillars are going to be the most life-changing things that you can do to improve your health, okay? So again, Anybody that wants to lose weight, anybody that has any questions, guys, please feel free to go ahead and you can go ahead. I'm just gonna, sorry. Thank you for all the followers as well, guys. Thank you for all the follows. Appreciate that, guys. And yeah, so sugar cravings, low energy, lead to the excess eating. Okay, so that's why we got to nip it right in the bud. Super important. All right. And if anybody wants to send me a message, wants to find out the tools, you can just go up to the profile there, send me a message, or you can send me a text as well. The number's up there, right? Juju, I'm stay home on. What does that mean? I'm stay home on. Just curious what that means. So, let's see here. And you got to understand the food, guys. The food these days is engineered to overstimulate our dopamine, right? If you agree with that, just put a Y in the comments, right? If you agree with this, type yes if you agree with this. Processed foods are the problem, right? It's the processed foods, ultra processed foods. That's what's causing the problems, okay? These are engineered to overstimulate, right? Let's see. Where are we? How many hours need to fast? Kunwil, Gil, so depends. I would say 16 hours is a great average, right? 14 to 16. If you're new to fasting and you're only doing 10 right now, go to 12, go to 14. If you have the products, you can go right to 16 because this will control your cravings. Cravings just come right down, okay? This yerba mate extract will literally control your cravings, ramp up fat burning, right? Juju saying, I am a stay-at-home mom, wondering if don't understand my fasting period. Yeah, so Juju, your fasting period would be very similar to what I'm showing up there, but it just depends on what time of the day. You want to take advantage of the morning, guys. The fasting in the morning is going to be of great benefit because you got to realize you just came off your sleep, so you've already fasted, right? By far, adding the time on there is the best time to add on, more time period to your fast, right? And I'll tell you why, because when you add on that time period there to your fast, you're actually going to have more results, right? And the reason you're going to have more results because you've already gone through the glycogen phase, you've already gone through the food phase, the glycogen phase, and now your HGH in the morning is higher, human growth hormone, and your body actually right now in the morning is fat burning. In the morning, guys, do you guys feel your tummy is in and you feel good, like until you eat and then it feels bloated, bigger and fatter? Do you guys notice that? Put a Y in the comments if you guys notice that. Guys, I used to notice that all the time and I want that morning tummy all the time, right? And you notice that, right? Yeah. And that's because in the morning, guys, in the morning is the time period to do that. Super important, right? What are the side effects? Oh, there's no side effects long term either. I've met people using it for 20, 30 years, back from the 1980s, believe it or not, right? That's how long it's been around. There's no side, because it's just fiber, right? These are food products. And you can, if you're weary about it, you can always go to pdr.net and you can see it there, right? La Lamba, how are you? Been using Unimate in balance, BP down, but diastolic still a little high. Yeah, diastolic, you gotta just check. Maybe it's something with the doctor. The top one will come down, yeah, for sure. And in some cases, the bottom one, that's like your resting. While you're resting, your blood pressure is a little bit higher. So you might have to go and have a look. But as you start to use the balance, it could be some blood flow issues, inflammation. The diastolic will definitely start to come down. The systolic comes down generally from the Unimate, but the diastolic could take time. For me especially, I had that problem. I always feel bloated. The reason for bloating is poor gut health. 9 times out of 10, that's what you see. It's not just a bad meal or some terrible food that you ate. Also, these seed oils, guys. Those seed oils that we eat out there, guys. Gotta be wary of those, man. Gotta try to stay away from those seed oils. Those seed oils attack your gut lining, man. They're really bad, and that could be causing more damage as well. But when you add the fiber, vitamins, and minerals, especially the viscous fibers, and you have that before your meal, the bloatedness starts to go away and your gut microbiome starts to get healthier again. And that's the key to health, guys, right? Super important. Because remember, Unimate imbalance is going to activate your AMPK, right? And that's your cellular fat burning switch. Boom, switched on, right? And then you've got 7 diverse fibers that slow down the glucose absorption, right? So now the glucose absorption just goes right down, reducing your insulin spikes, right? And now you got more leptin sensitivity, and then the brain recognizes that you're full and the cravings go away, right? And the bloatedness actually, believe it or not, gets stimulated by those cravings as well. Right? That's another thing you got to watch out for, right? So you got to understand that when you utilize a system like what I'm talking about here, you can get healthy, but you've just got to go through the steps properly, right? You've got to go through the consistency. And our system helps to keep you consistent. Okay? So you take the Unimate in the mornings, Juju. In the mornings you'll have Unimate. In the afternoons you'll have Unimate. But with your meal, your major meal, we add the balance, the bigger meal. And we eat till we're full. All 3 macros, guys. We don't just have one of the macros, right? Like just only carnivore, right? Or only vegetarian, right? You want to have all 3 macros. And if you are vegetarian, you can have plant-based proteins as well, right? So you're not stuck, okay? And you know, when you have these artificial sweeteners as well, right? Tons of artificial sweeteners. Those also cause issues as well. Right? So there's a lot of different things at stake here. Oh shoot, sorry guys. Yeah. So having fiber in your meals is super important. On top of it, think of the food industry, right? Do they want to keep you healthy? We know they don't. We know they don't want to keep you healthy. We also know that processed foods are making you more hungry. They're actually designed, they lack sufficient fiber, as I said, and micronutrients. So what happens is that you end up, you know, poor satiety. You just feel like you're not full. You just feel like you need to keep eating, right? And this is the general problem here, is that ghrelin gets active, and that's a hunger hormone. You feel more hungry, but you really feel hungry because you didn't eat enough in your last meal, right? So does that make sense, right? And this increases your appetite. Much more. Don't trust big pharma build. Oh, 100%. So true. Yeah, much more you understand the whole system there. Yeah. And a lot of people, despite us knowing this, we still end up eating those same foods and still trusting those medications, because sometimes, you know, when you're stuck, you don't have a choice. You think you don't have a choice, but you do, right? Because you got to understand, when we're stressed, right? Let's understand when we're stressed, and they want us stressed, okay? Larry, Alex, Taunton. Oh yes, I did check out this guy. Yeah, yes. But I'll check out some more as well. Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. That's really cool. And I'll tell you, these processed foods, ultra processed foods, that much more is talking about here, and also those medications. And guys, why did they buy like rights to all these? What was it? I think it was the avocados. I think it was. I can't remember what it was, but it was Orlando Bloom, Bill Gates, and they bought certain type of fruit. I think it was apple. Yes, that's what it was. Much more. Yes. Appeal. Yes. Exactly. Thank you for sharing that. Yes. And guys, you got to understand, these guys literally, they're evil, man. They're straight up evil. I can't put any other words. I can't sugarcoat it. Fasting guy, exactly. You be healthy because we won't want to make profits limit. Exactly. They don't want us to be healthy because we won't make them profits if we limit our food intake. 100%. The more we eat, the better it is for them. No, much more. I'm in Canada. I'm in Toronto, Canada. Yes. Where are you from? Good podcast. Oh man, I gotta watch that one. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up getting taken down, right? You know how these guys are, right? I hope not. Maybe because it's on Bill Gates, Google will be okay with that. And we know that processed Oh, you're from the UK. Yeah, in the UK it's really bad. I know my cousins there, the food is horrible. I mean, we have to eat, I get it, but if you add the fiber, my cousins are using this, using the fiber, and I've got a lot of people in the UK. We have a partner there actually. Linda is here, and Linda has a partner in UK who just started using the products. Linda might be here, I'm not sure. So processed food, guys, right? Additives, they exacerbate. Leave a can, or truth teller. Oh wow, I wonder who that is. And processed food additives, guys, right? They cause more neuroinflammation, inflammation in your brain, and mood disorders, right? So when you see these zombie movies and you see these ravenous zombies running all over the place, you got to understand to a certain degree they're actually doing that to us with the food, right? And the food is highly, highly addictive, guys. Try to go without food for a time period and just see what you go through. Lisa Miron, 15 minutes. Okay, let me write that down. Lisa Miron. Lisa Miron. Okay, I'm gonna check that out. Thank you for sharing that. Appreciate it. I gotta follow you. I just followed you back. I tried to follow you back, but it's not allowing. But yeah, so where are we at? Sorry. How do I close this? Okay, there you go. She's very clever. Ah, it's awesome. Yeah, and balance, guys. That's why exactly what Much More is talking about right here. Back in 1988, they came out with this balance product. It used to look like this. It still looks like this in the UK. And this balance, this is what it looks like. And you know what? They threw it aside very quickly and said, we don't want this because it's helping people to lower their blood sugar, heal their gut microbiome, and it was a direct competitor for statins, for cholesterol, and for blood sugar. And they literally dropped it and Unicity picked it up. That's why you haven't heard of it. That's why a lot of people haven't heard of it. This is a natural statin and a natural metformin. It is crazy, right? And the same reason why Bill Gates and all these people do these things is the same reason that they push this aside, because it's just not enough money for them. There's no money in them in curing people, helping people to get healthy again. There's no money in it for them. It's not a good, profitable business for them if people keep getting healthier, right? Do you see what I mean? It's not a good business for them, right? And balance, what it does, balance fosters microbiota diversity, right? Leroy, I put in 60K steps over the weekend with each day going after dinner and a balance. There you go, boom. After dinner, having a balance, 60K, dude, I just caught that. That's crazy. That's a lot of steps, man. Holy crap. Isn't that like 10 kilometers or something? So guys, sugar. Let's talk about sugar. Sugar activates reward centers in the brain. Do you guys know that? Sugar activates those reward centers. And a withdrawal, guys, right? Withdrawal. When you stop sugar, the withdrawal is crazy. It causes dopamine dips. And that leads to more cravings. So the withdrawal from the sugar is what leads to more sugar cravings and a relapse. You see? And food companies use these combinations deliberately to increase sales. Deliberately. Food scientists are literally come in for that reason, a lot of them, right? Majority, right? Exactly, yeah, much more. Staying off the sugar as much as possible. You can cut it down as much as you can. You'll notice that when you don't have sugar in your coffee or tea or whatever your drink of choice is, you just won't feel the same. You feel cloudy. That's the withdrawal from sugar, guys. Okay? Sugar consumption, guys, worsens your gut health, your hormonal balance, which is what they love, right? And also worsens insulin resistance, right? Metabolic syndrome. That's right. And that drives more cravings, drops you down, makes you crave more, makes you want to eat more crap, right? This is what's happening, guys, right? So I want you to understand that. Oh, sorry, I invited somebody by mistake. I apologize. I'll just take that back. Sorry about that. Yeah, sorry about that. So Unimate, what it does, when you sip on Unimate, it supports dopamine regulation. So adding this to your water and sipping on it supports dopamine regulation, mental clarity, easing the withdrawal symptoms. And the balance controls blood sugar absorption, okay? Preventing the spike and the crash, which is super important, right? And both together, what they do, guys, they reduce inflammation, improve insulin sensitivity. That's right. When you're sensitive to the hormone insulin, the other hormones start to react much better as well. And it helps normalize the reward pathways, guys, right? So now you're getting the right rewards. You're feeling better. You feel healthier, right? And brain fog. Does anyone suffer from brain fog, right? Brain fog, for example, prime example, excess sugar reduces, right, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, okay? That's called BDNF. And this is a problem for learning because they don't want you smart. So the sugar is a great drug for keeping you right where you're at, keeping you stuck. And chronic inflammation from poor diet, guys. Poor diet, chronic inflammation. Your inflammation's up high, disrupts the way your brain functions, right? Your neuronal connection, they call it, right? And you gotta understand artificial additives, right? Negatively affect your gut microbiome. You gotta understand that too, right? Brain dysfunction. The brain dysfunction that you have is reversible, but ignored by most people, right? And then people wonder why are the older people getting dementia, type 3 diabetes, right? Where's it coming from? That's where it comes from, guys. It comes from that excess sugar, carb addictions, eating all this crap, right? You are what you eat, literally, right? And Unimate improves your brain function. This right here will improve your brain functions. Supports mitochondrial function as well, which is important in your neurons, right? So your brain functions better. Now, balance will prevent the blood sugar spike simultaneously, okay? And reduces that systemic inflammation that we all suffer with, which a lot of us do, right? Hey, good morning, Peter. Good morning. How's it going, buddy? Good to see you. I'm doing well, man. How are you doing? And that's why it's important when you improve your gut-brain axis signaling and you got this connection with your gut and brain, you restore that cognitive function because now you're working properly, right? And guys, if anyone feels bloated, just put a bloat in the comments. If anyone has digestive discomfort, please put a BLOAT, bloat. If you guys feel that bloating, you have problems with your digestion, right? And the food industry, guys, back again, right? J Hards, why not 18.6? 18.6 is wonderful, absolutely. 16.8 is more of a middle ground for people, right? We find that 16.8 is a lot more, sorry guys, this music's putting me to sleep. 16.8 is more sustainable for most people. That's why, okay? So when you get to 16.8, you can move over to 18.6 very easily on some days, and some days you can come down to 14.10. Fall, I'll be boring you. Oh man. Yeah, no, I think it's the music. I'm listening to some meditation music. So processed foods, guys, also lack that fiber, right? 6 days on, 1 day off. Absolutely. No, you're not boring. Not at all. Not at all. Oh man, you're too funny. Let's see, I'm trying to find these things here. This flare can be used. Let's see if I can use this. I'm trying to use these flares that you get. Yeah, 24/0. Why not 24/0? No eating at all ever. So processed foods lack the fibers. We know that, right? Essential for healthy microbiota, right? And then you got the emulsifiers, you've got all the fillers, and these guys actually damage your gut, right? And this is in a lot of the food that we have. Okay? And you got to understand that dysbiosis, right? If you understand what that is, that has to do with your gut. That causes more gas, more bloating, right? Impaired nutrient absorption. If your gut is not healthy, you're not extracting the right nutrients, vitamins, minerals, right? Super important to get the nutrients out of the food. And sugar feeds that bacteria, right? So we understand. And you get chronic, meaning all like consistent, low grade gut inflammation impairs your metabolism, right? And immunity. So that's another thing. People have autoimmune. A lot of people have autoimmune. That's a gut issue. It has to do with your gut. And when you improve the gut health, autoimmune starts to go away. You start to feel better. That's how simple it is, guys, right? Okay, I'm just going to turn this off here. Okay,